Hey, it's Charlie Ray. Welcome back to another video. Today we're making this cropped sweater. So all you need to make this project is your main color yarn. I use this dark green Pound of Love yarn and an accent color yarn for the sides and the sleeves. You will also need a pair of scissors, a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook, some stitch markers, measuring tape. Okay, so we're going to start with the accent color and the 5 millimeter hook, and we're going to start making some chains. In order to know how many chains you need to make, you need to measure over your shoulder and where you want the sweater to stop in the front and the back. For us, that was 25 inches. Keep in mind, this is the main body of the sweater. You will be adding 2 to 3 inches for the ribbing. So, let's get started. Chain however many chains it takes to get to the number of inches that you need to make the sweater the length you want it to be, going from back to front over your shoulders. Again, for us, that was 25 inches. Once you have your chain, you are then going to crochet into the third chain from the hook. I use a double crochet going into the bottom loop instead of the top loop, and you are going to double crochet into each chain going all the way down. Now you are going to chain one and turn your work. So in this first chain space, you are going to double crochet as normal. But in the next double crochet, you are going to go into only the back loops. You are going to continue working in the back loops only, doing double crochets all the way down. And when you get to the end, you are going to go through both front and back loops for only that final stitch and also the first stitch. So you'll continue to make your rows for a total of 4 rows of your complementary color or your sleeve color. So now it's time to switch over to our main color. So you can go ahead and cut the yarn here, and we will add in our main color. Okay, so I like to add my color change just by yarning over, pulling the color through, and chaining a stitch and tightening that up to secure it, and then weaving in the end. So we're going to go ahead and do a double crochet through both loops here. And then still holding the ends so that they can get weaved in, I'm going to go into the back loops and crochet all the way down this row with the main color. The number of rows you need depends on the inches around your waist or body. You will need to measure around where you want the sweater to stop in order to determine how many rows you need. It's about 2 rows per inch. So you'll have to decide how fitted or baggy you want the top to be. It's also better to try to have an odd number of rows because the middle row is where you will be doing your neckline. You will stop making double crochets halfway down the row, and then you'll need to make the number of chains as the same as the number of double crochets you have left in the row. So if you had a total of 60 stitches, you would need to double crochet the first 30 stitches of that row, and then you would need to chain 31 stitches to make the other side the same length. You're creating something that is in this shape. So let's do the other side. You are going to need to double crochet in the third chain from the hook. When you get to the end of that row, you are going to double crochet into the back loops only of the previous row. And you are going to do that all the way down. Next, you will need to make the remaining main color rows the same number of rows you did on the other side, including this one. Once you've done all of your main color rows, it's time to switch back to your accent color rows. So you are going to just attach the yarn and make a double crochet through both loops of the first stitch, and then just the back loops of the remaining stitches, and then you're going to keep making rows until you have 4 rows just like the other side. At that point, you should have something that is this shape. And then it's time to fold that in half and do the sleeves. So you'll need to put it on your body and figure out where you want your sleeves to begin and end. And starting from the bottom, you will need to crochet together using a slip stitch or a single crochet. When you're done stitching the side, don't cut your yarn, just tighten it up. Flip your sweater where it's right side out, because now it's time to work on the sleeve, and we're going to just continue with the yarn from there, going all the way around. So this is really simple. All you have to do is pull the yarn loop through. You're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then you're going to decrease the following stitch. You'll do that by pulling up the front loop only on the next 2 stitches, and then you'll yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through, and then you will do the single crochet again, and you'll alternate all the way around. Once you get to the last stitch, you can go ahead and cut your yarn off, and you'll weave in that in later. We like the way the sleeves look shorter, but if you want to make them longer, you can continue to play around with the sleeves to get them the way that you want. Now it's time to work on the ribbing of the sweater. We are going to go all the way around in a single crochet stitch, but before we do, place the sweater facing you, and you are going to cross the two front sides over one another, and this is going to get crocheted together. So to hold it in place, we're just going to use a couple of stitch markers to hold that together until later. So you can flip your sweater over and then attach your yarn anywhere on the back you want to, and you are going to single crochet all the way around. And when you get back to the stitch markers, you are going to make sure that you go through both sides of the sweater, and you can go ahead and remove those stitch markers. When you've completed your single crochet row, you are going to chain 3. You are going to double crochet decrease the next 2 stitches together. So going through both loops, you're going to draw one up in the first one and then draw one up in the second one. Yarn over, pull through 3 of those loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Then you are going to do a normal double crochet, and you are going to keep alternating these 2 stitches all the way around, the double crochet decrease and then the double crochet. Okay, so at this point my battery died, but I made an illustration for you guys to show you what the ribbing should be on this sweater. So these are the 4 rows that you need for the ribbing, and the last row from forward to question mark is just saying that you continue that 4th row of front post, back post until you get the ribbing to be the size you want it to be. Once the ribbing is done, it's time to add a little bit to the collar. So you can pick the spot where you want to start adding. I like to do it right where the sweater crosses over. So you can just add your handy dandy stitch markers, and I would count up the stitches from the bottom to make sure they're the same number up, but it's not absolutely necessary. You're going to attach your yarn at the first stitch marker, and then you are going to single crochet in that stitch and in the next stitch. And then in the next stitch, you are going to make 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Okay, now you're going to do a half double crochet, another half double crochet, and then you're going to do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. Now we are just going to be using double crochet stitches to go all the way around the neckline until we get to the last 8 stitches on the other side, and then we'll repeat the same stitches we did over here but in reverse. Now when you get to the very back where your yarn splits and to the 2 sides, there are a couple of stitches there that have a tendency to be a little looser because of the design, but I just did 2 double crochets in each one of those stitches, and then I continued with the double crochet stitches in each row around. When you have 8 stitches remaining, it's time to do what we did on the other side in reverse. So after that last double crochet, we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. And then we are going to do a single double crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and then finally 1 single crochet in the last 2 stitches. Okay, so once that's done, you can remove any remaining stitch markers, and if you've been weaving in as you go, you should just have 4 ends left to weave in. So once you take care of those, you are all done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there are any particular patterns that you would like to see, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more crafty and crochet videos. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.